Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Parlor. This is episode 2 of my summer series where I am sitting down and talking with fellow creatives in many different spaces. Today, I'm super happy to be speaking with Kisha Nicole Foster. Kisha and I went to college together many moons ago, but Kisha is a celebrated I'm going to read your bio correctly because Kisha has done some really amazing things. She is the recipient of the 2019 Cleveland Arts Prize for Emerging Artists in Literature. She is the author of Poems 1999 to 2014 and Blood Work. She's also in her 4th year as a regional coordinator for Poetry Out Loud, a program of the Poetry Foundation and the National Endowments of the Arts, which is sponsored through the Ohio Arts Council. Kisha's crafted and commissioned poems for Tamir Rice Foundation and their event, Arts, Activism, and Legacy at the Cleveland Museum of Art, and Giving Back, the Soul of Philanthropy, reframed and exhibited. The Soul of Philanthropy and Legacy at the Cleveland Museum of Art and Giving Back, the Soul of Philanthropy, reframed and exhibited, sponsored by the Soul of Philanthropy at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Kisha's also holds a Bachelor of Arts from Cleveland State University in English, in creative writing. So welcome, Kisha. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So I wanted to get started from the beginning. So when did you know that that poetry, spoken word, like that was I want to say that was your life, but how did you know that was like a part of your passion?
I know it started when I first started reading poetry, which was like when I was 15, 16. I started reading Nikki Giovanni. It was when I was about 19, 20. I went to open mic and in 1999, and I had won a poetry slam. And it was when I won that poetry slam that I knew that I was going to have, I was going to be able to make it a career because of the way that the audience responded.
Yeah. For sure. And speaking of Nikki Giovanni, I think I remember you. I think it was like Joseph Beth used to be on Shaker Square, and I remember you being there. I don't know if like we knew each other, but like, that was the first time I actually saw you like outside of like CSU, and I was like, oh, okay, we have similar interests.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. She was up the Joseph Booksellers, and she was up there visiting, signing books.
Yeah. That was for sure many years ago.
Early 2000s.
Yeah. So, tell me, like, so since you began to read, you knew that this was something that was like a part of you. When did you decide to? I guess I want to talk about your creative journey. So, how did you get started? After you knew this was going to be something that was going to be a part of you, and then talk about a little bit more about like where it's taking you presently.
So it was through a network of people, creatives here in the city, artists, writers, who kind of I attracted with my talent and what I was doing on stage. I kind of attracted them to me, or I was attracted to them. And they put me like on stage in different ways. So like I was a part of a play, and I would do open mic, and I would slam. And so keeping myself busy doing all those things, I realized that 1, it's a career and you can do this, and 2, you can get paid for it. Because I had been just doing open mics and slamming, I didn't know at the time that people were like getting paid for features and stuff. And it was only when I started at Cleveland State and I was going into Black Studies, and Ruth Raida Reese one time had asked me like, are they paying you? And I'm like, no. And I was like real young. I had been like maybe 4 years in, and I'm like, I have to pay my dues. And she was like, yeah, you have to pay your dues, but they have budgets to pay for entertainment and for you to come in. And it was at that, it was like 2004, 2005, when I really like got my first check from performing and reading my poems, as opposed to just slamming and open mics.
I did not know that. Know that.
Yeah. And so she was great. I would go in there and talk to her all the time, and she was just very instrumental in her and Giorgio Sabino were like, he's a photographer in the city, and he graduated from Kent, and they were just very instrumental in me monetizing my words and my presence and branding who I am as a person. And I hadn't thought about any of that because Nikki Giovanni, I didn't think of her as a brand. I didn't think of her as like, I just love what she wrote. So they brought the business aspect to me. And it was from there that I started. I used to host at the Spy Bar on Tuesday nights. You know, I used to go to the Kamikaze. It was also at Cleveland State where I started getting like a lot of commission gigs and understanding what like commission is. And so that's writing a poem for a specific event or then a specific person. And then at Cleveland State, I was able to produce a lot of shows, you know, through Black Studies, do a lot of extracurricular activities through different organizations. So Cleveland State, I would have to say, was very instrumental in just me creating capital and understanding that, like, oh, I'm a business. But as time moved on, you know, people start hearing your name and they start seeing your work, and that's really what has gotten me to the place I am now. And there's nothing to brag about. It really was a lot of hard work because at the time I didn't have my degree, you know, and so I was crossing these roads and barriers without a degree, but being able to like have the prowess as if I had one, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
just being in the community, publishing my books, getting more commission shows, doing workshops for different literary organizations. Like I say, fellowships. I had a fellowship at the Cleveland Public Library for Poetry Out Loud. I've been, like I say, regional coordinator for Poetry Out Loud, which was really rewarding because I'm over all of Northeast Ohio. So I recruit the schools, I run the competition, and that's it. But the difference is that you are seeing these people, these young kids, and they are reciting these poems, which is different than like what I naturally do or what I normally teach, which is just performing them. So recitation is way different. So just learning, like, you know, all roads of poetry aren't just this big performance. And in that space, I was able to learn like my own work. I was able to find mentors throughout these 22 years, because it's been 22 years this year since I've been doing this.
That's crazy, Kisha. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but that's awesome.
It has been, though.
That's awesome.
Young
we were babies. We were adults, but we were babies.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now, like being like a mentor to like younger creators and poets? Like, do you see some things in them where you can be like, you know what, don't make this mistake? As far as like you mentioned, you know, getting paid for your services and knowing how much you're worth. Like, do you have those conversations with them now?
Well, more so because now the game has changed with technology, with different outlets for poetry. They know kind of how to get to it, the capital of it now. They also kind of know the business of it. That's not it. What I need to tell them now is about kind of how to craft their poems. So I give like advice on crafting. This is how you craft your poem. This is how you handle yourself in this situation. This is what you need to be thinking about. Not so much about these gigs, but are your poems sound enough? Are they making sense? Are you in it for the ego? Because those are the really important things. Those are things that I didn't get taught early on. I had to learn through trial and error. So what I tried to let them know is, just like my poems come from a place of heart and it's very truthful, in mentorship and in coaching and in teaching or in just basic conversation, I listen to what they are asking me, and then I try to edify in the right way. So whether that is they want to know help with how to make a chapbook, how to get published, how to perform, how to commission a poem, what does that look like? What does it look like forming a workshop? Whatever the young poet needs, I kind of just listen and give them that. I'm not the older poet that knows everything. I'm still learning as I go. I mess up every day of my life. So I can't do that. What I can do is continuously be like a beacon and a guide and a strong, stable creative that they see putting in the work and doing
Sure.
work, not just doing it for the likes but doing it because I know that this is my charge. This is my gift.
For sure. For sure. And speaking of your charge and your gifts, like I know that both of us now are moms of 4-year-olds. And so that was, again, something totally different 20 something years ago.
Yes.
So, so how do you balance like the life of a creative and the life of a parent, of a mom? Like, how do you, I think we were talking yesterday and I said, like, I feel like I have more courage and I'm willing to take more risks, creative risks, now that I do have a son. And you would seem like it would be the opposite, that I would be more cautious of some of the things that I do. Not saying that I'm like reckless, but you know.
Yeah.
So
well,
like, how do you?
You're never. You're never.
I was never.
The thing is, that's good. That's a good question, because the easiest thing for me is just because I am a creative, dealing with her creatively, if that makes sense. So not getting too hard on her, not getting too hard on myself. Some nights we eat dinners. Some nights my kid wants chips, and that's okay. So just like as a mom, going with the flow of what works for peace in our household, and keeping her. I am very, very conscious of where she learns from, what she learns. Is this the place that is going to let her be herself? Because a lot of times our young children, they are like reflections of us as kids, really, our kids. And so when we think about it, I always try to think about, what didn't I get? And so then what is it that I'm going to give to her? You see, if that makes sense. And as a creative, I'm more in tune with that, because I'm not an accountant. I'm not a doctor. I don't have this high demanding job. So to the person who does have that, or even to the 9-to-5 worker, I'm blessed to have my child around me, even if I'm going to a meeting, if I'm going to a show, if I have to perform, my daughter comes with me. Is that easy? Not all the time, because I'm always on. And so I'm on as a mom, but I'm also on with the people. So that is more so the balancing act, is when we have to go outside of the home and she has to come with me to these creative gigs. But it's still, she's a cool kid. And so it's not hard. It's fun, actually, because I'm taking her to art galleries. She's coming to the event that I'm going to, that other kids aren't going to. She's in the Museum of Art, so it just works.
She's in your element. And I think that is it's no different than a kid that goes to the office with their parent that works in the office. Like, she's just going to work with you to see what you do. Yeah. And I think that's dope. And I think it's good for people to hear that too, that your life doesn't, it will change a little bit, but like the essence of who you are and how you work, how you create, that doesn't have to stop or be kind of muted because you have a child. So
no, not at all. Yeah. I mean, I could be sitting there writing a poem and she'll come up. You're writing a poem, Mom? Yes. Yeah, Mommy's writing a poem. Oh, okay. And she keeps it moving, because you got to think, even when I was pregnant, I was still performing and constantly. So her whole life, she's heard me talk.
Yeah.
That's normal to her to talk in that way.
Well, for her. Yeah. And the same way with Malcolm, like if I'm working on a copywriting project, or like we're working on his documentary, like he's used to like lights and cameras and equipment just being around, and knowing what it is. It's just, it's a cool like feeling, because I don't know about you, but like I used to feel like I wasted like so much time doing other stuff. And we talked about this yesterday, how like both of us have had a variety of jobs. And now I feel like this might be the perfect time to do what I want, because I have all the other things that I wanted. Like I wanted to be settled. I wanted to be happy with myself. I wanted to live a little bit more before whatever. And I feel like having those experiences and growing as a woman, like that's helped me be able to create more, and have a different perspective about things. So yeah. That was just, but I thought about that yesterday after our conversation yesterday. So what advice would you give not, it could be someone who is a poet, but more so someone who just a creative and thinking about like how can they turn their passion into a viable business or career. Like,
I
what advice do you have?
think is just to get out of your way. And you have to get out of your way and make a decision that this is what you're going to do. And the thing is, it's not easy, because essentially what you are doing is you are putting yourself in that position, no matter what the art is, to be judged, to be criticized, to be liked, to not be liked. And so you have to get out of your way at all times. And it sounds easier than it is, yet that is really it. Because once you get out of your way, you'll allow yourself to take risks. You'll allow yourself to just kind of flow with whatever you want to do, and not so much what other people want you to do, what you might see your mentor do. So as a creative, you have to get out of your way. And that's I think that's just with anything. And you have to want to learn what it is you are getting into. So, meaning, if you want to be a poet, I can use that example, then you have to read not so much how to be a poet, but read the poets and read the poets that you like, and take poetry classes with a literary organization here in Cleveland. We have Lit Cleveland. If you have a teenager, we have Lake Erie Inc. You take classes with these literary workshops as they're offered. If you want to do, if you want to do a long term, get into college, but study yourself, because once you study yourself, you learn rules and you learn techniques and you learn the craft of it. And once you learn that, then that's really where your creativity comes in at, because then you're able to break those rules, change those rules, bend those rules, shape shift. You're able to do whatever you want and become or create whatever it is that you want. And then I think the third thing is to just not be afraid to say no, because it's easy for us to say yes. It's easy for us as creatives to get in our way and not say, no, I can't accept that payment. No, I can't do it on this day. Because what happens is we get our reputation means a lot. Reputation means a whole lot. You have phases and levels when you can do certain things. In my 20s, when we were in college, it was okay for me if I was a little offbeat and off pattern. Get into your 30s, you figuring that out. In your 40s, you don't have time for that. You have time to stable, to make it work, and then be assertive and know what it is you want. You don't have time for games. You want to play games, play with our kids. So you have to, be very mindful of yourself in the times. Really. When we were in college, I was mindful I was in college. I knew I was in my 20s. I knew I was young. 30 came, you like, dog, why did I do that in my 20s? But then you figure it out again. Now you're in your 40s, and it's like, okay, I can say no. I know what I want to do. I know how I want to put this forth. I know I can endure. I know I can wait. I know it's dark times, but it's going to get lighter. Like, because that's wisdom.
You've had experience, right? You've had the experience, right?
Yeah.
And even adding on to that is just not being afraid to say no. And then if it's something where you receive a no, though, don't take that to heart, meaning that that's it for you, right? Because we all experience a no and a no and another no. I'm like, oh my goodness, right? But eventually those no's turn to yeses. So and then just again, for sure, because you can't get everything. If you've never experienced a loss, you're gonna have a hard time dealing, especially in a creative space. Like, you're gonna have a hard time dealing with that. With everyone's opinions of what art is and what it isn't, what poetry is and what it isn't.
Yep.
So, well, this has been awesome, Kisha. I told you that 15 minutes go by super quick.
Yeah.
I'm so super happy. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
Kisha's just an amazing person. I know she's like an amazing creative and an amazing mom, but Kisha is just one of those people, like, when she's in your life, she's just so true, authentic, kind. You don't find too many people like that. So it is really great to know. For sure.
And I would like to add, I am a good time.
She is a good time. She is a good time.
I'm a fun
Kisha,
time.
Yes. I didn't get so college I was a little bit more reserved. It wasn't until I got out of college I was a little bit more. But yes.
But it was so fun. It was so funny because in college we were total opposites, but we still were cool. But you would be like, I would say something and you would be like, Kisha. Like, what? It's like,
right. I'm like, no, Kisha. No. I'm like, But yeah, super fun though. It was fun times.
Yeah.
So I want you to stay on because I didn't want to put you on the spot and actually do a poem, but I did find a poem that you did for Idea Stream. I believe it's completion. So I'm going to play that on our way out. Okay. Thank you all who joined the live and who watched the replay. Next week, I'm talking to Charles Hairston of Phases Films. He is an independent filmmaker. He's also working with me on my upcoming documentary. And I'm putting out here in the atmosphere that we'll have a promo to share next week. So if he's watching this, I need it by Tuesday, Charles. So with that being said, I'm gonna play your performance, and then we're gonna head out. All right. So, all right. I'm still a one-woman show, so let's see if I can figure this out.
Right on time. This is being a mom. Right on time. Oh, this was such a fun night.
Okay. Kisha, I do not know how to change the screen. Ah, wait a minute. Here we go. Wait a minute. Where am I? Oh my goodness. How do I get out of here? Oh my goodness. Hold on. I have two screens up and that is not. Okay. Oh my goodness. Girl, goodness. I'm gonna have to edit that part out. I was like, how do I get out of here? All right, Keisha. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I was like, I'm playing the whole thing.
That's one of my favorite poems. I love that poem. Thank you. I'm sitting here watching it like, yes.
It was amazing. I was like, this is why Keisha, that's why Keisha is Keisha. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all who's tuned in, popped in, and those of you who are going to watch the replay. Until next time we speak, I wish you all peace, joy, blessings, love. Until next time, bye.
Peace.